and welcome back to our Week 8 of Risen Esports Dominate League. I am Eldris. Here along with me is my co-caster Hocus Focus, and we are just about set to get into game and to pick band. That is, how are we feeling tonight?
Oh, we're feeling pretty good tonight. I do have to say so myself. How about you?
Oh, I'm feeling great. You know, we got a little bit of sneak peek, a new and updated stream, a little bit of nice overlays, and we're just about ready to go into pick bands here as the team's ready up. Tonight's game will be between RDM and BFG.
Yep, and RDM standing for Run It Down Mid, with BFG standing for Blackfire Gaming.
Yep, and we already have the bands coming out hot. Mid lane bands, Azir from side of RDM and Ari from side of BFG. Azir, of course, very powerful meta pick right now, even after the nerfs. But Ari, not so much.
Yeah, Ari is a pretty interesting ban to pick up. This is probably targeted, more than likely. We see that pretty much 95% of the time when it comes to pick bans.
Yep, and Nar and Oriana coming out too. Nar, RDMs just seem to be content with these meta bans. It seems as though they're not quite. They're either not quite sure how to narrow down the pool of the players on BFG, or they're just so confident in their own play that they don't need to. And we have the last two bans coming out: Caitlyn from the side of RDM and Kled on the side of BFG. So pretty target bans from the side of Blackfire Gaming.
Yeah, Caitlyn and Kled, especially, I mean Ari as well, are very, very, very off the meta champions, I guess you could say. Like, Caitlyn can hold her own against 80 carries, of course. Ari, still decent mid lane. Kled, you don't see a lot of Kled, but for them to be banned out, it's got to be at least targeted against these individual players here.
Quite so, and the first pick coming out from the side of Run It Down Mid, Zach will be their power pick. Zach, a very powerful jungler. I'm not sure if I would have gone with Zach myself. It seems as though they have a game plan in mind. And Blackfire Gaming respond with a Cho'Gath and a Tristana. Very interesting.
Yep, Tristana is one of those champions who is usually huge in the game. But now more so than ever, I would say that she's probably, if not the top 80 carry pick, she's at least the top 3.
You're definitely very powerful in all aspects. And the Cho'Gath, however, I do have to say that's a little bit different. Cho'Gath, we have seen a little bit of reemergence in the LCS as his overall utility and as a tank and as a zoning champion is just still very powerful. Plus, even without the gargoyle synergy on his ultimate, it still does hundreds and hundreds of true damage, able to take down an ADC. So we'll see how this Cho'Gath pick works out for them. RDM respond with they're just going straight up for that beef line. Alistair support and Maokai in the top line. Very tanky.
Yep, so far they've pretty much established that they want to be up in your face, doing as much damage as they possibly can, as long as the crowd control effects coming out from Zach, Alistar, and Maokai. That is a lot of CC. They'll have to pick some pretty high damage carries in order for that team to kind of round itself out. But
they will, and those carries will have to, make their work is not cut out for them. If you get a comp like this, Zach, Maokai, Alistair, you engage, and the backline could just free fire, but not when Blackfire Gaming picks a Janna. That Janna pickup, I think, is very good, very crucial here to keep their backline alive.
Yeah, a lot of disengage there from the Janna. Probably the best champion at it support-wise that you could possibly have, just due to her ultimate.
We have second round bans coming out. Since RDM are looking for their carry champions and BFG are looking for a mid lane and top lane, RDM bans out the Zoe while BFG bans out a Kog'Maw and a Varus. RDM have that tanky front line, as you said, but they have to get a large amount of damage in order to follow this up. Varus and Kog'Maw 2 of the best on hit AD carries at this time.
Right, and I mean, if Vayne hadn't been banned, I think that she probably would have been huge for RDM right now. Tristana as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, and a Corki ban coming out from the side of RDM. Corki coming back into the meta. Not sure how I personally feel about that one. Corki meta in mid lane was something of a troubling time. But it does narrow down on that the sustained damage that BFG can take out.
It was definitely pain in the tuchus, to be sure. With Syndra.
Yeah, we have a Syndra pick coming out from BFG. That's not something that we do see. My goodness. Okay, here we go. RDM is... I'm seeing this coming out from Run It Down mid. They are going for the full tank. Full protect the ADC comp with a Galio mid pickup. They're going to have to pick the best, most damaging AD carry they could. And they go with the Xayah pick, actually. Perhaps not the best scaling AD carry, but it's the best that they can work with right now.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say myself, is Xayah is pretty much the cream of the crop left for them to pick with their comp that they possibly can. So she's a good pick overall for the comp, but definitely wanted to spring for somebody like the Tristana first. I wouldn't have picked up the Zac the first thing. Probably would have done Tristana. I feel like she's a higher value target. But it should work out for him.
This is a spicy pickup. We see a Sion. I believe that would be Sion top, so it would actually be Cho'Gath in the jungle now for Blackfire Gaming. I'm not sure if the Sion can keep up pace with the Maokai, either in tanking or in just the lane harassment, keeping the lane under control.
Right, Maokai is a pretty big bully in the lane. Yeah. So the only perks to choosing Sion is you get to do the level 1 invade by yourself and take that buff away from from the enemy jungler, and of course you get to go top lane with preferably a red buff if you can. But it's going to look like if he does decide to do it, it's going to be a blue buff because he's on the red side here. So maybe not as worth as they thought.
Maybe not, but of course Zac being very susceptible to ganks and early game invades, not really the best early game skirmisher out of the junglers right now. He would be susceptible to that Sion invade. Not even, might have to give it up, especially if BFG follow up with a Cho'Gath roaming down or a Syndra roaming up.
Yeah, it's gonna be dangerous for him to go near his blue buff if all things hold true. But I mean, the full expectation is for the Zac to start red, especially on blue side. So I think he'll evade that danger, but I don't know. I don't know the mind of the jungler here, so perhaps he will try to start with that blue and they'll run into a little skirmish early.
So coming out here, RDM run down mid with a very clear-cut idea, and surely Blackfire Gaming noticed this, know that Xayah is their one target, their only target that they need. And I'm not sure if RDM had the right idea here. Syndra, known for being able to pick off one champion with a high skill ceiling, I must say, pressing that R button. And on RDM, if she is able to pick off that Xayah, she only has one Feather Storm for one champion. She can only dodge one high impact ability. And without second carry on Run It Down mid, this is a very risky comp for them.
Yeah, this is, well, I'll say this. The four tank thing can definitely work. Galio is pretty high damage. Maokai, high base damage. Zac, I mean, he can do some damage in the mid game. Alistar, not so much, but he's got the CC machine. The only person they really have to kill on the side of BFG is Tristana as well, because the Syndra, especially when it starts getting into the medium and into the late game, is not going to be able to burst anyone on their team except for Xayah.
That is true.
So I think they have pretty similar comps here. The only difference is that the Janna is probably going to be the person to watch here, as those ults can either make or break team fights for this BFG team.
Yeah, that's true. There's also a chance that Galio will be going AP Galio even after that hotfix long time ago, in a season far away, he still does tremendous damage from that Q, maximum health damage, and yeah, it will be on this Janna to just keep the carries of BFG alive. Now, lane matchups. As lane matchups go, we pretty much decided that it will be hard pressed for this Scion to keep up with Maokai in lane. But when it comes to this bot lane, a scaling bot lane on the side of Blackfire Gaming, while a bot lane that looks to engage, it looks to get an early lead from side of run down mid. How do you think it'll head up there?
I think the Xayah lane definitely needs to get ahead as quickly as possible to keep the Tristana down. Tristana becoming an absolute beast in the mid to late game for sure. Honestly, I think the crux of each team is just going to be that bottom lane, so I think we can look forward to a lot of ganks in the bottom lane to try to get either one of these 80 carries ahead and eventually snowball the whole game out of control there.
Definitely. We're probably going to be seeing a teleport coming out of the Galio as well. Going to check into the pick ban inside the Lee clan right here, and oh, my bad, he will be taking the Ignites 4 lane, although most likely he might be taking the Unsealed Spellbook in order to get that teleport. They will have the dual teleport on Galio and Maokai, plus a semi-global ultimate from Galio, so their map presence will be just huge.
Yeah, I think we could definitely around the level 6, level 7 mark, we could definitely see Galio running bot and ulting to try to snowball that lane ahead. Would not be surprised if Zach headed down there as well, just to get that extra secure in there. There's only so much Janna could do. Tristana does have the jump away, and I feel like that's just going to leave Janna lonely and prime for the taking, if you will.
Lonely champion up there. Now, coming into this, we have the records of these two teams so far. They actually are not updated. I believe RDM are currently 4-3 in their league. Has not been updated for last week. However, BFG are 2-5. Now, they have to win this in order to even think about making the playoffs. RDM, of course, also needing this victory very badly. So both teams with a lot on line here, this might be BFG's last chance.
Well, the good news is BFG has a lot of red/purple champions on their team, so it's usually an indicator of extreme powerful being, especially in League of Legends. We'll just have to see what they do with it.
Yeah, it'll be up to BFG in order to really close this one out. Now we are only 1 minute left in the spectator delay as we load in, so we will just be going over the summer spells. We have now this interesting thing I'd like to point out. Both teams have ignites on their mid laner and their supports. I'm interested in this ignite pickup from both Janna and Syndra. Now on the side of run down mid, of course they have the Maokai, they have the Zac, they have the Alistair, they have very high healing champions. They need those ignites, but they only have one damage dealer on the side of run down mid, so an exhaust will be able to just shut down RDM even if they get onto you. We might be seeing a Unsealed Spellbook coming out from the Janna or Syndra, looking to be able, just be able to be important, be vital at all points in the game.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Janna is a weird champion to take Ignite on, especially since she's not so in your face like a Thresh or Alistar, Bran, Zyra, etc. Exhaust definitely makes more sense on her. She's more of a protect the carry type support, but we will see. Maybe she does have the Unseen Spellbook, so she'll trade it out during the game for a better spell.
We'll see as we load into this game. As we slowly load into this game. Thank you, Red Games Production. And we do see that in the loading screen. We have unsealed spellbooks coming out from both Syndra and Jaina, so they're looking to just bully ahead in lane with those ignites and be able to, trade out those summoners for something more useful in the late game. We see, this will be an AB Galio coming out. As we said previously, that is ignites on the Galio, and he has decided to take Arcane Comets. So there's no chance for him to go something that is more utility based. We're looking for a second source of damage outside of rundown mid.
Very interesting there, and I actually bug splatted out.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Alright, we slowly load into this first game between. Hopefully no bug spots.
Not actually letting me black.
Oh, and as soon as we get into this game, once we get through this transition, you will see that the game has been paused. As soon as it comes in, the ADC for Blackfire Gaming has disconnected.
Interesting.
Perhaps he just had a bug spot as well. Red Game's just dropping the ball here tonight. It will take a moment for the games to load in, but for now we have on the blue side, running down mid, Phil Warwick only on the Maokai. So Phil Maokai only on the top lane. Tyrant Rex on Zaka in the jungle, Verde on Galio in the mid, Lord O on Zaya in the ADC position, and Volume Blender on Alistair supporting him.
Yep, and we have on the other side, the red side, the bad guys, if you will, run it down mid with the Spook Squad on the Scion, Acello on the Cho'Gath, Kadium on the Syndra mid, Magically Lewd as the ADC on the Tristana, and Loco Express with the Jaina support.
Jaina support, indeed. So, since we are alone in this game, we are able to see some stuff. No utility-based items coming out from side of Rundown Mid. On the other side, however, Blackfire Gaming, they have stopwatches on both their mid and AD carry, as well as Syndra taking that minion dematerializer.
That's an interesting pickup for the mid lane.
Yeah. Of course, now with the changes, you can take both stopwatch and minion dematerializer, as stopwatch is currently in the tree with the magical boots, and I do forget the last one. Is it Futures Market? It wouldn't be Futures Market, would it?
I don't believe so, but it might.
Alright, we will check up on that and get back to you. But as this pause heads into its third minutes, we do have to remind everybody that each team is limited to, I believe, a total of either 5 or 8 minutes of pause. So the longer this goes on, the worse it is for a wrong logo. The worse it is for BFG, since otherwise they might have to just drop game 1.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, if he's having a bug similar to mine, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do in this situation. I have a black screen that keeps on trying to load. It says spectator server data request failed, the game will now exit. I hit OK, and then it does it again in about 5 minutes.
You might have to just keep going here.
So I'm not really sure exactly what I'm supposed to do here.
Right. Perhaps not the most exciting game to start off on, but since we are loaded in and Riot did update their little UI, we are able to see the keystones in the game past the loading screen. So anyways, pretty standard keystones otherwise, other than the noted spellbooks and the comments on each side. We have double aftershock coming out from the top and jungle of Rundown Mid, and Fleet Footwork on both ADCs. Now on the other side, we have a aftershock coming out from the Cho'Gath and a Grasp of the Undying for the Scion. I'm not sure if the Aftershock is the best pickup on the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Aftershock Cho'Gath doesn't really sound too great, but I'm a big fan of Comet on Cho'Gath, so I don't really have much of an input.
Oh, well, actually, I kind of want to hear about that now. How would... I mean, after you knock someone up, it would be guaranteed comment, right?
Yeah, well, I love doing damage, so I try to get as much damaging ability as I possibly can.
Alright, that is a good point. Only time will tell if the Aftershock will be the correct choice in this game.
I mean, it's more or less just an added protection to champions. I mean, it's going to be to his front line.
Yeah, that's true. Most people take the Aftershock for the added magic resist and armor rather than for the damage. Damage just helped a little bit in the early game, which is why this Alistair took it.
Or so we imagine.
Or so we think.
So we think indeed. So they're on 5 minutes of pause already right now.
Yeah, they are on 5 minutes pause. We will have to check up with Risen rulebooks in order to see what to do in this situation. But for now, we will just give both teams the benefit of the doubt, as there is no... I believe there's no communication on the fact that one team is asking for the other to drop the game. Oh, that is my mistake. Teams are limited to 10 minutes of pause time per team and a maximum of 3 pauses per game, so they will have until the timer reaches 20 minutes. And here we have a reconnection, so just on making it back just in the nick of time. Things getting a little bit hairy there. Well, hopefully the game will be restarted soon enough.
Yep, I'm actually still having the same issue I was before.
Might have to just restart your entire league.
Well, no, I already tried doing that. It's just a black screen as well. I can't exit out of it. I can't see my league client anymore because I just have a black screen.
That's a shame. That is not what you want to hear.
Just have to cast off of the stream. So it'll be 30 seconds behind or so.
We'll try to do our best for now. But the game will be resumed in a few seconds. And after that delay, we now finally have the first game between Rundown Mid and Blackfire Gaming. So coming out, pretty standard items coming out so far for both teams as they head towards the jungle. It seems like neither team is looking to get an early invade down. Everybody heads towards the choke points towards the river. Tyrant Rex actually putting down a good word there.
I've actually seen recently a lot of invades go down. Especially, I mean, of course, especially in the early game, but in this part of the game here. Recently, all of them electing to go down towards the red buff, of course.
Yep.
But here we have a little bit of that Scion pressure here on the blue, like we were talking about there. Zach did decide to go ahead and start the blue, so they are over there ready to go. I have a feeling if they weren't over there, that would have been an easy pickup on blue for the Scion here. But everyone seems pretty content with just going back to their lanes.
We are seeing this happen more and more often, where the blue side jungler decide to start blue buff, decide to take blue golem in order to get that level 3 gank off in the bot lane.
Yeah, really important to get your AD carry ahead, especially now when everybody is so strong as in compared to the AD carries, who, to be fair, have a good solid mid into late game for sure, but there's a couple things you could do every game to make sure that your AD carry gets ahead. So it's pretty casual starts from both.
Yeah, we saw the Cho'Gath do the same thing, also looking for that level 3 gank in the bot lane.
Should be pretty interesting to watch here in about a minute 50 seconds.
Alright. Now, since things are pretty calm so far, it looks like both teams are just content to farm up. Now, level 2 coming out from Malazar goes in for a headbutt ball rise, hits both abilities onto Janna, gets the blade color roots onto Janna as well. Ignites, taken by the Alistair, taking down the Janna in the last tick. Perfectly executed from side of running down mid.
Really just an unfortunate situation where you just didn't push the lane quite fast enough. They had the finger on the proverbial trigger, as it were, and it led to an unfortunate death there. Even through the heal was burned there by
looking for another headbutt ball rise, and the root hits as well. Tristana has that rocket jump, a little bit more mobility than Janna. Able to get away from that.
It was a good blade color to do additional damage there, but wasn't a very good stack of CC, if you will. She still had a little
coming
bit
with that bounce, and a taunt comes in from the Galio, Winds of War, and one last punch into the ground. The Syndra is done. Great early game pressure. Using these junglers, using these tanks while they can.
I didn't even see the Zac hit the Syndra there, so it looked like he kind of just bounced behind her. But happened to be
it's about that
the hard place to her Galio's rock, if you will.
Yep.
And she was stuck in between.
She is stuck in between. Forced to use a Unsealed Spellbook token early, trading that ignites for a teleport to get back in lane, so she will not miss too much CS. She still has flash, however, knows that she was going to die to that Zac Galio amount of CC, and still has a flash for a possible next gank.
Yeah, a little gank top, but not going to amount in much. If but a little bit of extra damage down on the Zac. Actually, kind of interested in what is going through the mind of Volume Blender here on Alistar, with the ability to show his dominance in the lane. He seems to be kind of content in the lane now instead of taking advantage of the heal-less Blackfire Gaming bot lane.
No heal, as you say, on the Tristana. Also no flash on the Janna. And of course, she flashed in full view. They should know that this Janna is susceptible to another gank. And here comes the Syndra as well, susceptible to their own gank. That's heal coming in with that flash coming in with good use, saved from last time. Flash getting her out safely this time. But with no flash, this should be another easy kill. Knock up onto Phil Warwick only. It is able to get away from that Cho'Gath silence.
Oh, just barely made it out of the way there.
Top lane not going so well on the side of, and another blade caller comes down onto the local express. That just melts right there. Warwick only going in a little bit too far, might just die to this Sion. Sion does not have flash, however. Sion is going really deep, takes 2 turret shots. Both top lanes blinking deep red.
Yep, always close in the level 1 towers, or especially when you're below level 8, I would say. Those towers do a lot of damage to you, so maybe in the future when Sion's looking closer to level 9, 10, that's when you go ahead and be good to go with those tower dives, but definitely not right now.
And since Run Diamond has that early advantage, they are happy to just let they have map control right here. As you look on the map, you see just 2 wards for the side of Blackfire Gaming inside the blue jungle, while the blue side has wards controlling all around mid lane. Syndra has nowhere to escape, nowhere that she can be safe. However, Blackfire Gaming are looking for an early dragon. Once Cho'Gath hits that level 6, Zac can't challenge.
Yep, just in regards to Smite being stronger, and with the feast as well. And I can't actually read that because my left monitor is blacked out.
Oh, that is a shame.
Yeah, it's providing quite the obstacle, let me tell you.
Alright. This is a new challenge, but a challenge we will get through.
Challenge accepted.
Alright, Zach is looking for a lane gank. There are no wards in the bot lanes, and Zach could go in. However, he is low on health, still has a Soda vision. Decides to think better of it, as Galio is spotted. Galio looking to go bot lane for a hero's entrance dive, but is spotted on the multiple red wards that we see in the bot side river.
Yep, and that was just the level 6 4-man gank that we were talking about before the game started there.
Yep, the gank that we were expecting.
Definitely want to get that Xayah even further ahead if possible, as the Tristana starts to outscale her pretty quickly, especially with that attack speed steroid being so much stronger and the range.
Alright, we have some... Oh, it's a little bit too early for first items, but we see the results of, you know, the fruits of their labor for the side of rundown mid because of that early gank in the mid lane and the bot lane. It's only a slight edge, but that's... Xayah does have a long sword over the Tristana. And it's only 10 damage, but, you know, as we see from the Ignite nerfs way back in Season 4, we all know what 10 AD can do.
Yeah.
As well as a Blasting Wand in addition to the Catalyst of Aeons for the Scion, getting that early damage down. And as I say that, a Hippo Pulverize comes down on Tristana, jumps away from the rest of the Alistair damage, though can't get that auto attack stun off, but Lordo just decides to go in, forces the stopwatch out of Magically Loot. Alistair pops that ultimate, Blade Caller comes out, Alistair to go in, doesn't need his AD carry, he can finish off Tristana by himself. AD carry still comes in, gives it over to Xayah for that later skilling. And they have this tower and this Jan on lock, looking to take down one or the other. Zach comes down, followed by the jungler and the mid lane of Blackfire Gaming. They don't want to give this turret up too easily. Galio also roamed down here, so we might see huge bout of action coming out, but both teams decide to back off.
It was a very interesting tower dive there, and by interesting I mean it went off pretty much without a hitch for our Blackfire Gaming team right there, and by that I mean run it down mid, of course, with the blue team doing well too. They juggled the aggro just well enough, and they really didn't take any damage in regards to the tower there, so spot on, very clean tower dive, and definitely not what you want to happen there when you are the Tristana or the Blackfire Gaming team here. In the long run, just not going to work out for you in the mid game.
Yeah, and however, looking at the farm, you wouldn't be thinking that. If you just look at the farm by itself, you wouldn't think that, oh, and as I say that, a Brilliance Elastic Slingshot comes out, it bounces forward from the Zac as Cinder went golden there, you know, goes golden a little bit too early and just cements her death.
Yep, and that's the biggest withdrawal or the biggest con to the stopwatch is if you don't use it in a very pristine, if you will, time, you could end up killing yourself, just like what we saw there. Alistar taking a little bit of harass when he goes back into the lane and ganks his own lane, as it were. Okay, yeah, I just can't see any of it. Like I can't even go over.
Oh, I say that Janna forced to use that Monsoon, keeping away that Xayah. Xayah going in again as the stretching strike hits the Scion, but Scion is unstoppable. Cannot stop that Scion when he screams out cowards. Shogath looking for his first gank here as Alistair goes in for Headbutt Pulverize, but did not expect that. Blade Caller perfectly timed, killing the Janna on the backside as well. And they could just keep going here. Run down mid, running down bot lane. Try and run down the members of Blackfire Gaming. Dodging another rupture there as well.
Yeah, but the Janna unfortunately just walked directly into the Blade Caller there, taking, I don't want to be the guy, but I gotta say it, tons of damage. Yeah, and turning what would have been a 3v2 into a 2v2 with a minuscule amount of damage, the Tristana's already being pushed out, as it were, by the Alistar. So a Cho'Gath versus Alistar's Eye isn't going to help much. And so they're just going to try to go back and defend the tower if they can.
Yeah, here we see some of the fallbacks of this Janna pickup. Now, as we said, Janna probably one of the best supports against a comp like this. However, you have to be precise, extraordinarily pinpoint with your abilities in order to stay alive. As we see here, already 0-3, not able to do so.
And it's also fair to note that even if you are Janna, with this much CC on the team of Run It Down Mid, it's difficult for you to even peel off one person. Let it show to be like 2 or 3. You know,
it's all
like
4 members.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have been worse. They could have picked something like a 5 tank comp. You know, ADCs be damned. Just run all the way over.
I'll just pick Graves next time. Just full tank.
Full tank. And here we have another elastic slingshot coming down onto Zaya. She does not have flash. She does not have the stopwatch. I say Zaya, I meant Syndra. But it does not matter, as the Syndra just dies to the incessant CC from the side of Run Down Mid.
It was a very good CC stack here. You got the Zac pulling into the Galio charge there to just bounce the Syndra around to the point that she can't even react anymore. If she did have flash, one could question if she would have been able to even use it at that point. But that is another takedown there for Run Down Mid, who is currently 7-0. Despite that fact, no towers have been taken for Run It Down Mid, so Blackfire Gaming could actually take first tower gold still.
On that note, Run Down Mid has taken down the bot tower, but has just shown 3 top now. Because of that, Blackfire Gaming are able to take that first dragon. That is that Cloud Drake. Will definitely help with the Zac in his roam, as we have seen the Zac in every single corner of this map. They're looking to take down this bot lane tower, though Maokai doesn't want that to happen. It will still be taken down from that explosive charge. Hero's entrance coming in, a little bit too short, and a great Buster Shot keeps this Tristana alive even at no mana, unable to do anything else. Keeps her summoner spells intact as well. So
yeah, it's overall pretty clean breakaway there from that. Got the tower, got out. Didn't take too much damage, but utilized everything within her kit that she could without summoner spells, which is perfect because you're definitely going to need those later when you start going into the team fight phase of the game.
Over camera movement there. Syndra flashing out away really early from that elastic slingshot. Better safe than sorry, as the outer turrets of the side lane of Blackfire Gaming are down. Run Down Mid trying to complete that by taking down mid lane, and a perfectly timed blade caller takes down Syndra. Syndra is down. Janna follows suits. Run Down Mid is running it down mid, running down over the members of Blackfire Gaming, but a perfectly timed rupture keeps the Cho'Gath alive. Zac dies through that Soul Division, and it seems as though Run Down Mid has overstepped their bounds a little bit. Still trying to look for this tower though.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest strengths there of Run It Down Mid, is they have so many tanks that could just run past towers at this point. That, I mean, even if you lose one, you can still persist and continue to juggle the tower aggro and get kills beyond the tower there, especially in this mid game when you kind of outscale the tower a little bit. It's crazy. I would not be surprised to see if the situation permits for them to tower dive more often. Especially if they can get onto somebody like Tristana or even Janna again.
Yeah, definitely. Combining the mid lane and bot lane of Blackfire Gaming, they are currently 0-8-0, looking absolutely abysmal here.
Yeah, and the only saving grace really coming out and from that situation is the Syndra is 30 CS.
Oh, you have a little stretching strike coming in, missing a stretching strikes. However, the Alistar comes in with about double pulverize. And a double taunt coming out from the Galio as well. The CC just CC train doesn't stop, but there's no follow-up as Zaya is down bot. The tanks cannot follow up on their own damage as they.
Yeah, and I think that fight was mostly just a lack of focus there. They could have killed the Janna pretty much for free, but they went after the Tristana, and the Janna tried to split their damage off. I mean, what you were saying is definitely correct in that they just don't have the damage to kill both at the same time right now. So they needed to focus on one or the other in order to get that at least something out of that huge amount of CC that they just put out. But just imagine Zaya being there next time, and you'll see how the rest of the fights are pretty much going to go.
Yeah. And now Zaya on 2 items as well. Tristana sitting on half an item, half a Zeo item, half of an Infinity Edge. Well, Zaya has a 50% crit chance already, very far ahead of Blackfire Gaming. In fact, across almost all lanes, save for top, rundown mid is very far ahead. So
yeah, running down mid definitely has the items where you need them too. They got the Galio built up with the Rod of Ages getting built up over time already, and then you have the Zaya, of course, with her 2 mainstay items. So it's looking to be quite a difficult deficit here for Blackfire Gaming to come across, but we'll see as they start getting into the later end of the mid game what exactly they're able to do when the damage of the tank starts to fall off a little bit.
Yeah. It seems as though they are just trying to get as much as they can into the game while the tanks are not. While tanks still stand strong. I'm trying to pick up this Red Tail and they will get it. It seems as though, coming out from the pings, Blackfire Gaming are not aware that this game went down. Until now.
No, and the interesting thing is that they have wards that are deep at the blue and the left side of mid tower there, but nothing on the actual Rift Herald there, so they had no idea what was happening until they managed to plop the one down in the middle of it.
Yeah, Rift Herald on this Maokai here decides to summon as soon as he gets it onto his top lane, looking to just push up the top lane as all 5 members converge. Zach coming in with that elastic slingshot, bounces the Cho'Gath back. Probably not the member that you want, as that Cho'Gath is still tanky, not tanky enough. Shelly goes to work on that turret as 2 members of the rundown mid a little bit too far. Maokai dies, but traded it back from the Zaya Syndra hitting a back lane. Both carries of Blackfire Gaming are still alive throughout all this. Perhaps not long enough. The last Syndra is on Syndra, knocks Syndra back. Bowling Blender comes in with the power rise. He does not need an AC here. Sion follows suit. Yeah, almost as an afterthought for running down mid. As a 4-for-0. 4-for-1 actually.
Yeah, it's just a very interesting, not necessarily interesting fight, but just relentless fight there from Run It Down mid. They have the tanks that are built up.
Yeah,
can't really be stopped.
Ooh, Lord, staying alive for just a sliver of. Never mind, both ADC straight down. Now it is a jungler and a support on each side just trying to duke it out. Galio coming in for a little bit of support and both teams disengage. The inhibitor turret stays intact for now.
Yep, and it was kind of funny to watch the Janna and the Cho'Gath there try to take down Zach Alistar. Just a wet noodle fight, as it were. Neither of them really putting out a lot of damage.
Quite so, and coming in, we're just past 20 minutes. We have that 21 minutes. We have that 7k gold lead on the side of